they're ready for this. You know what time it is? It's about that time of the week to showcase what you got, the talent that we have. It's a whole lot. You can sing, you can dance, you can rap, you can write. It doesn't matter. You know what time it is? Put your hands in the sky and wave them side to side. Every foot alive. It's Talented Thursday with Kimberly Eichelle. Let's go. I don't think they're ready for this. You know what time it is? It's about that time of the week to showcase what you got, the talent that we have. It's a whole lot. You can sing, you can dance, you can rap, you can write. It doesn't matter. You know what time it is? Put your hands in the sky and wave them side to side. Every foot alive. It's Talented Thursday with Kimberly Eichelle. Let's go.
Hey, everybody. It's your girl, Kimberly Eichelle, and let's go. It's another episode of Talented Thursdays, and you all know that I am feeling good tonight. I have such a special guest here with me tonight, and she is ready to converse with me and to share some of her testimony and journey. Oh my goodness, Teri Tobin is in the building. So let me just say welcome. Welcome to everyone who is watching, those of you who are watching on Instagram, those of you who are tuned in on Facebook. You may be listening on Vegas Praise Radio. Thank you again for coming in. Make sure that you bring a friend. Make sure that you're pressing like, that you're subscribed over on YouTube, because I want to keep bringing you great artists week after week after week. Oh my goodness, you all are in for a treat tonight. But before we get started, let me jump over to the comments just briefly. I have Joshua Gabriel in the building. He said, first, I'm a first winner here. That's right, Joshua. Thank you for coming in. He said, hey, I'm first winner. Number one. That's right, Joshua. You are number one. And thank you for tuning in tonight. This is the first time that I've seen you here, so I'm glad to have you. Thank you for coming in. So before we get started tonight, again, you know, I am honored to have this special guest here tonight, but I want to also give honor to someone that we lost in the music industry this week, Michael Eugene Archer, also known as D'Angelo. D'Angelo was such a talented soul, a talented musician, and he brought so much to the world, you know, and so he is definitely going to be missed. I was looking at social media earlier today for just a few minutes as I was preparing for my show here, but I saw that Miss Lauryn Hill gave her condolences, and most people were saying that Lauryn doesn't talk a lot about different artists and things, but she did give her condolences and love to the family, and also just to the person that D'Angelo was. So we just want to send prayers up for his family, for his friends, and for his fans. You know, he brought us Brown Sugar, he brought us You're My Lady, you know, and he brought us How Does It Feel? You know, we remember that song as well. So D'Angelo, you will definitely be missed, and to his family, prayers up for each and every one of you as you go through this trying time. So let's move forward, you all, and, you know, get ready for tonight. Again, I'm so excited. Jumping over to the comments again, Wylena, the Las Vegas Queen of Gospel, is here. She said, hey, Kimberly, waiting for another great show. Well, can I be number two? You are number two. Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in, Wylena. I love you. Love you to pieces. And here we go. So tonight's guest, you all, let me just see. We have a truly gifted artist in the studio. She's an award-winning soul singer, songwriter, mental health advocate, and Arizona native with a voice that's been said to go down like honey, flow smoother than wine, and is rich like butter. She's classically trained from Howard University, performed with the legendary Howard Chorale, and shared the stage with icons like Diana Ross, Luther Vandross, Michael Jackson, and Patti LaBelle at President Bill Clinton's inaugural gala. Teri's a two-time Soul Tracks nominee, a 2025 Josie Award nominee, and a winner of this year's Intercontinental Music Award. She's also been a featured voice at Phoenix Mercury and Suns games for years. Her debut album, Love Infinity single Free, was a #1 hit in the UK and the Netherlands. And her latest project, Forever, is out now and streaming everywhere. And let me just take a moment to say, y'all better get this album. You better listen to this album because it is good. Do you hear me? I'm so happy to have her here live. She's here to talk music, life, and I know we're going to have a good time, okay? So stay tuned, everyone. Up next, the incredibly soulful Teri Tobin. You're watching Talented Thursday.
I don't think they're ready for this. You know what time it is? It's about that time of the week to showcase what you got, the talent that we have. It's a whole lot. You can sing, you can dance, you can rap, you can write. It doesn't matter. You know what time it is? Put your hands in the sky and wave them side to side. Every foot alive. It's Talented Thursday with Kimberly Eichelle. Let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, y'all. Y'all ready? Are you ready? Let me hear the drum roll out there for none other than Miss Teri Tobin.
Hey, hey,
hey. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, Teri. It's so good to have you here.
I am thrilled to be able to finally sit down with you. And I too am excited. I'm excited.
Yes, indeed. Let me just say kudos to you. First of all, congratulations on your awards and nominations. You have such a beautiful gift. And so I am honored to have you here tonight. So this means a lot. I just want you to know this means a lot. Okay.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You know, I do feel that, you know, God gave me the gift to use it. And even though, you know, life be life and sometimes
Yes,
I just,
yes,
you know, I got to keep going. I got to keep going.
Absolutely. Well, one of the first things that we love to talk about here is repping your city. That's a big part of Talented Thursday. So I want you to rep your city tonight. I know you're located in Arizona.
Yes.
And so for those who have never been there, you know, let us know something that the people have to experience, whether it's something to eat, something to see, something to do. When they come to your neck of the woods, what's up there?
Well, I will say this first and foremost. If you don't do the heat well, don't come during the summertime. but people always ask me, why am I still here? But 9 months out of the year, the weather is perfect. Yes. So if you are a golfer, it's the perfect weather almost year round for you to be able to do that. As far as food, you know, there's a lot of Native Americans and it's a combination of Native food and of course, Mexican food. I'm a Mexican foodaholic. So yes. I feel that the best, well, I can't say the best food is here because I was also raised in Cali. So I'll just say between the two states, that's where you can get the best Mexican food for sure.
There you go. There you go. And I'm glad you said Cali too, you know, because your people from there would have been like, now, wait a minute, we got some Mexican food in Cali, okay?
Exactly.
Yes, the street tacos and everything. Just
you're speaking my language. You are speaking my language for sure.
Yes, indeed. So I read somewhere that you were born on Valentine's Day.
I
was. You can't help but be full of love, right?
You know, that is honestly the truth. Like I don't know. I don't know how else to be. I don't know what other topic to to dig into, and especially as it relates to me writing my music, that's kind of where that's my lane. I don't know. I obviously, some of my girlfriends be like, well, when are you going to have those, heartbreak songs and this and that? And granted, I have those.
Yeah.
But I made the decision that I wanted to focus on putting out the positive, putting out the love songs, because we have enough going on in our country and in the world that elevates the negative, right? So none of this is an accident. I was born on Valentine's Day for a reason. I think I was put on this earth to spread love one song at a time. So that's what we do.
Ooh, that's it. Spreading love one song at a time. Yes, so speaking of music and your gift, when did you fall in love with music? Tell me about growing up, young Teri, and just when you discovered that love.
So I think I've loved music as long as I could remember being, awake, let's say. I had to base it off of what my mother told me, but I do know that, of course, back in the day, and I'm dating myself, but back in the day when we were coming up and there was TV shows and you had theme songs from the TV shows, you had, the jingles from those shows was like the part of the experience, right? I sang every last one of them. I sang every commercial, every song on the radio. Like, I couldn't help it. Like, that's just who I was. And even my grandmother would ask me, like, is there anything else that you like to do other than sing? And I'm like, no, that's it. On road trips, we drove from Arizona to Mississippi one year. And unfortunately, I sat behind her in the car. And so she had to hear me sing from Arizona to Mississippi. That was literally when she asked me that I want to do something else, because I'm sure she was tired of it. But, I didn't, some of the time, and even now, I don't always know that I'm singing. It's just like second nature. It's second nature for me. So I feel like I've always known it. I've always loved it. As at the time I was the only child. And so I always joke that the record player was my babysitter, because like if my mom had to run to the store, I would just sit there with headphones. You have to worry about me getting in trouble or nothing. I was going to be sitting right there when she got back, because I just love music. And so she kept a lot of music. My mom kept a lot of music in the house. So that is really when I first fell in love with it.
That is so awesome. And I think you're like my twinsy, because our stories in that arena mirror each other so much. I was the person that was singing I love double checks, all the different commercials and things. And then same, I remember I had actually, at this time I was in college, and I had gone for spring break to visit with my aunt, but her boyfriend at the time, I was singing behind him every song on the radio, and he was like, "Are you gonna sing?" And my aunt's like, "Leave her alone." I'm like, "Okay." I know they have peace when I'm not here, but I'm gonna sing every song.
Absolutely.
So defeated. I did. It's so funny.
Yeah.
So you had the opportunity to attend the historic Howard University.
I did.
Where you studied classical music. So I want to know, how was it adapting from Arizona, California to DC? Because those are totally different arenas.
It is.
So what were some of the things that you adjusted to and that you saw culturally, and that you loved about Howard? Let me put it that way.
I'm sorry, what was the last part of your question?
And that you loved about
that I loved about being HU. Anyway, so let's be back. Let's rewind to Arizona. Arizona, as we know, is not culturally chocolate. and so growing up, I think it was the norm, even though my family, I consider my family the Rainbow Coalition. We got a little bit of everything in my family, but in terms of being in touch with Blackness, I didn't necessarily experience that in my early upbringing. And the example I always give is that, Arizona was very behind when it came to even R&B music. There were songs that they were playing in California, and then it would be the summer when I would come back to Arizona for the summer times. They just started playing that song 6 months later, and it was like new to them, right? Especially I mean, also when we moved to California, the day that we moved was the first day that I ever saw Soul Train.
Wow.
So like get into that for a second, right?
Okay.
Because most households, most families, that was a part of every Saturday. Now, part of it was probably because we didn't have cable at the time, but when we moved to California, that first day, April 19th, 1979, okay, is the first day that I saw Soul Train, and my life changed in that moment. Oh my gosh, like there's so many of us on TV, even, but even with that, growing up in California, I don't want to get too deep in the whole colorism conversation, but I will say that because of what the media stated was beautiful, a lot of us Black women were not represented. We didn't see ourselves on TV. And so I think a part of that, even though I was raised to be strong-willed and believe in myself and all those things, I didn't realize that I was internalizing this my own negative view of my complexion at the time. So I'm going somewhere with this.
Yes.
After high school, I moved to Atlanta. That was the first time that I finally understood what this beauty was, right?
Yes.
I had never been in a place where I was celebrated in such a way. And so that was a beautiful movement for me. But my music coach, my vocal coach that I had in Atlanta, she actually went to Howard as well. And she was the one that encouraged me to apply. Now, I had always heard about Howard because I absolutely love Donny Hathaway, love Roberta Flack, God rest their souls. Yeah. And so the idea of me going there, I didn't think it was possible because I'm like, I'm not that good. I can't go to Howard. And she was like, absolutely you can. And so we prepared the audio tape. Yes, it was on cassette tape to audition to go to Howard at the time. And when I got in, I was more than thrilled and shocked at the same time. So to be able to walk the same halls that Donny and Roberta did, practice in the same practice rooms, like I'm getting chills thinking about it because there's like an unspoken beauty in just being on the yard. And unless you experience it, there's nothing I could say to make you understand what it is. And so I like to say that Howard changed my life in a lot of ways, not only as an artist or vocally, but just being around my people. And we were, it was an elevation that I never even saw possible for myself. And then seeing so many of us in that space. But the other piece that I want to touch on is I didn't know I had to study classical to go to Howard. Oh, wow. I thought, I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to sing, Whitney Houston, and I'm going to get into this college. No, ma'am. That's when I was first introduced to classical pieces. Like I had never, I'd heard them like from afar, but I didn't know, that that's what I could do and that I needed to do in order to get into the school. So that was the first time that I was introduced to it. And I'm so grateful because the foundation of it definitely helps me today, of course. But, the discipline required to sing that kind of music is just, you can't get it anywhere else, except in the church, of course. Well, we didn't talk about that, but of course I started there first. Right. But in terms of learning, breath control and the high notes. And at the time I was a second soprano. Okay. I've become an alto in my latter years, partly because I became a lazier singer, you know what I mean? And anyway, I digress. You relaxed into it. I did. And then my styling, the style of music that I write, I just write whatever I feel. And it's not always going to be, a soprano part. So
that is so true. Yeah. I totally get that. As a songwriter, I totally get that. Sometimes I write and things are so deep. And then I think, I write so deep when I kind of sing hot. Yeah. But you just go ahead and roll with it because you write what comes from the soul, you know? And so that's beautiful. Teri, let's talk a little more about being classically trained, right?
Okay.
So that classical training, but being rooted in soul, being rooted in the church, you know, and things like that. How did you find a balance to do both? Like, where did you find that mixture that makes you Teri?
So, you know, being in the chorale, there was no deviation from what was required. And, you know,
Yes.
Dr. Norris was our fearless leader, and God rest his soul. He passed away this year. He didn't play about that. He didn't even, honestly, he didn't even like us venturing off and singing, you know, soul music at all. Now, there were those that studied jazz at Howard.
Okay.
But I didn't feel like, you know, I was so insecure about my voice at the time that I really didn't feel like I could do it. I wish I had done both, to be quite honest. But where Dr. Norris was concerned, he was like, no, you're going to sing these pieces and that's it. But what he didn't know is I was still writing. I stumbled upon a group of folks that were really, really talented, and it brought me in and encouraged me to write my own material. Because up until that point, I had been in the studio before. I had recorded some demos for people, but most of the time I was singing songs that other people wrote. And so when I met Scotty Beats, I'm resting. There's a lot of people that have been in my life that are ancestors now. And Scotty is one of them, but he was one of the ones that told me, you know, if you don't write what's being said, you have to say whatever they tell you to say. And you want to make sure that it comes from you. And so that is kind of what allowed me to be able to do both. You know, I kept it separate, but you know, I was able to do both. And granted, my writing back then was really, really bad. They weren't telling me that it was bad, but like when I listen back, I wasn't quite there yet. But it did encourage me to always want to keep my voice present. In my voice, I mean the messages that I want to put out, because you know, especially being younger, like I said, I've been in the game. Well, I didn't say this, but I've been in the game since I was a kid. My first professional gig was singing background for Jeffrey Osborne. And up until that point, all through my years, I always worked with other people, and they'd say, oh, well, she's going to be the next so-and-so, right? So they would focus on me singing songs like whoever that so-and-so was. And this is nothing to negate them, but I'm like, but I just want to be me, right?
Exactly.
The only way I'm going to be me, of course, is to be able to write my songs. And so that's kind of where that started. Howard, I say Howard changed my life, but also living there on my own for the first time. You know, you had to grow up. You had to learn how to hustle, learn how to be self-sufficient. And you know, anybody that's gone to a HBCU or in college in general on your own, you know, it's a hustle. It's definitely a hustle. But I absolutely love everything about Howard. There's nothing, you know, people can say what they want to say. They may have had, you know, bad experiences here and there, but you'll never hear me say anything derogatory about my experience. Even if some of the things I experienced were tough things, I think it helped me become who I am today. So.
Absolutely. And I like that you shared, you know, that with the richness and the fullness of your voice. I was talking to my uncle last night and letting him know who was going to be on the show tonight. Shout out to my Uncle Michael, which I call Mikey. And I sent him a clip of you singing. And after he heard you, he said, and this is a quote, "Her voice is beautiful. She has that effortless, smooth soul." Those were his words that he texted.
Thank you, Uncle Mikey.
Okay, exactly. Yes, so there is an effortlessness about your voice. There is such a calmness, and I keep saying it, but it's true, a richness to your voice. And so one thing that I liked about what you said was, that's going to encourage somebody else, is that you weren't always as confident. You know what I'm saying? Like, absolutely. You were always developing and growing. And so I love for artists to hear things like that, especially those that are just, you know, coming out, to know that where you are today, you always have room to continue to grow. And even the greats still had times where they were not as confident or may not have believed that I can do this. So to press forward and to, be on stages all over the world, I think that's wonderful. But tell me where that effortlessness comes from, because it's like while you're on stage, there's such a peace, and so what is that?
I wish I wish I knew what it was, because I bottle it and sell it, and you know what I mean? It'd be something
and
that I
buy it.
Maybe even describe it to some of my students, even, because I don't know what it is, but there is a peacefulness that comes about me, upon me when I'm on stage, and I've just always been comfortable. I was just sharing with one of my younger cousins who wants to get into the business, and she kept saying, what do I do about getting over my nervousness? I said, oh, don't ever get over it. You need to use that energy to to push you forward, because the moment that I get ready to do a performance and I'm not nervous, that's when I'm like, okay, something's wrong. I'm either too cocky or something's not right here. So I use that nervousness, I use that energy to be able to go on stage. And so the fact that people look at me and they think that it's effortless, and I don't have any of those jitters or anything like that, no, that's absolutely untrue. But I think even the way that I approach my music, I try to do things that feel good to me.
Yes.
I pick the songs that feel good to me, and being on stage just feels good to me. And to share a little bit about what's been going on with me lately, and the reason I'm saying this is because even in the midst of my recovery, it still feels good to me. And I've had 2 back surgeries in the last few years. And I'm still not out of the woods yet, but there are times that I'm on stage and I'm still feeling the things. I'm feeling the pain, but there's something about being on stage that I forget, what my body is going through, because it just feels good to be in that moment, to be able to share in that space with the people that took the time to be there, the people that spent their money to be at a show, with me. And so, I don't know. I think that piece is also just that, I always go back to, he gave me this gift for a reason. And, sharing, what did I say? Spreading love one song at a time.
That's it.
It's not going to share themselves. Somebody's
gotta share it.
Somebody's got to do it. And so, yeah, I wish that, I don't even know if I really answered the question, but the fact is I am at peace when I'm on stage, when I don't have that opportunity to do that, even in the midst of the things that's going on. And I just had a flashback to when I was in the hospital after my second surgery. I just stumbled upon a video that I recorded, and I think I might have shared it on Facebook. I think I deleted it, but I shared it on Facebook. I actually was in the hospital bed waiting for them to bring me my pain meds, and I was still singing. Like, I still had that desire to want to sing.
Absolutely.
And, it wasn't great because my breathing wasn't great. I was still trying to get my lungs back from being under anesthesia and all of that stuff. But it's just, I can't do anything. Like Granny said, you do anything else? Nah, this is it. I mean, I have other things that I do, but when it comes to music, it's just in me.
That special thing for you, and it's something, like you said, when you're going through, music is one of those instruments or tools that can just bring us over. And I talk about this often with singers and musicians and such. Music has a way of just shifting an atmosphere, of just transforming a situation. So even in the midst of the pain and everything that you were experiencing, it was just something about you being able to get that song out, get that portion of song out, that music out. And so with that being said, I want to share with the viewers, I have a clip of you singing. So for those of you who may be new to Teri, oh my goodness, I need you to go and get her music and start at the top, because she has albums, okay?
Yes,
but this is a performance of her singing that I want to share. So again, tonight's artist is Miss Teri Tobin. You're watching Talented Thursdays Keep watching.
I'm so in love with you. Whatever you want to do is all right with me. You make me feel so brand new. I wanna spend my life with you. Let's stay together, loving you whether times are good or bad, happy or sad. Sing with me. I'm so in. Yeah. Hey, whatever you wanna do. Yeah. All right with me. Hey, you make me feel so brand new. I wanna spend my life with you. Hey, hey, oh babe, hey, since we've been together, loving you forever, hey, is what I need. Hey, let me be the one you come running to. I'll never be untrue, is what I want us to do. Let's stay together, loving you whether times are good or bad, happy or sad.
Yes, indeed. Again, Miss Teri Tobin, y'all. Oh my goodness. Girl, your voice is just like, look, like I read in the bio, honey. It's like honey. Okay.
Oh, well, thank you.
I want to be able to hear you live one day, because we do this through video virtually. It's just something magical about when you sit in a room and get to experience an artist. So those who get the honor and the privilege of sitting and hearing that, I know you're feeding them. And what do you get back? What do you get back while you're up there singing? What comes back to you?
So, like I get chills. I'm getting chills thinking about it because I remember what that room felt like. I remember what the audience felt like. And a lot of it is just, it's important as an artist to be able to get energy back from the audience, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm trying to be careful of what I say. There are certain cities that are very energetic and they engage, and those are my favorite audiences.
Yes.
Those that some might say, well, be quiet, stop talking so much during the show. But for me as an artist, I love when an audience, like like the lady that stood up, I didn't even know at the time. I didn't even know she stood up. I couldn't see her, but she was in it. She was feeling it, and I love it. I love when if something I do resonates with somebody, I appreciate it. But it's definitely an energy. I always say this, and I used to say this to the students I used to mentor in preparation for like their auditions, and they had to sing in front of their classmates. I would always remind the classmates, they can see your face.
Yes.
Right? So as an audience member, this is just a tip. As an audience member, be aware that we can see your face.
Yes.
And for those that are like really engaged and really into it, I appreciate that, because they show you by nodding their head, they show you that they're engaged. But there are those that sometimes sit there and there's nothing on their face, like nothing. And it's one thing if that's who you are naturally, right. But if you came to the show, come and have a good time, Right. And so I say that for the most part, I just get a beautiful energy, beautiful spirit from the audiences that I present in front of. And I'm honored that I get that opportunity when I do. Just a tidbit that I haven't shared anywhere. In that video, again, this was post the surgery, I literally put an ice pack in between my undergarment and my dress just so I could perform. I was in so much pain before the show. I was like, okay, something's got to give. I'm not going home without doing this show. So there's things that I do because, again, I'm giving them what they paid for, but it's feeding me too. It absolutely is feeding me.
Beautiful, beautiful. My mom is in the room. Evangelist.
Oh, where's Mom? Hi.
Yes. And she said, no one can understand what it feels like when you're used to singing and your voice is not working right for some reason. And I know she's going back to talk about that time that you said you were in the hospital. Yes. And even things that my mom is dealing with right now, because she loves to sing. Yes. And sometimes she's singing and she's like, I can't get my notes out. I'm like, singing, because she was a soprano like you too. Yes. The height of her range, but singing is something, like I said, that brings us so much joy and comfort. So we can't take it for granted, because for many of us who love to sing and perform or whatever our outlet is, it's like second nature. You know what I'm saying?
It absolutely is.
Yeah. So you have to be able to, just enjoy what we have and use that gift and instrument that God has given us. Wylena, the Las Vegas Queen of Gospel, said, I can relate to her so well with the nervousness and turning that negative energy into positive.
Amen.
Yes. Indeed. Yes, indeed. And then I have Tony dropping in tonight. One of my good friends, he said, well, hello, and well, hello to you.
That's right.
Thank you for joining. So,
I wanted to speak to what your mom said. Post-COVID, I didn't think I was going to be able to sing again. I'd lost my voice. I still have, long haulers. Like I can't breathe sometimes. And, there's things that my voice is different. And I just wanted to encourage her, because I know that after that happened, I was afraid to sing, because I'm like, I'm not sounding like I used to sound. Like I already wasn't singing soprano anymore. I was singing mostly alto, but after COVID, my voice was even deeper. And if it wasn't for a good friend of mine, David P. Stevens, who's a jazz artist, he and I would do, projects together, and he encouraged me because he wanted me to demo this song for him. And I was so afraid to do it, because I'm like, I just don't think I sound good anymore. And I just don't know if I should do this. And if he had not pushed me to do that, and I sang the demo for him, and my voice was different. My voice is a little raspier, whatever. Maybe it's a little sexier. I don't know. Okay. But the bottom line is, I was able to hear the gift again. Right. And I'm saying this, and maybe for somebody else as well, we may not be what we were before, but the gift is still there. we just have to fine tune what this new version of this gift is. So I wanted to get that message out there.
Yes, indeed. My friend is saying he's waiting to hear my mom sing. She will sing.
Yes,
I promise.
she will sing again. Amen.
Okay, and okay
Mhm.
is right. Teri, this time is flowing, and I have so been looking forward to tonight. So I got more questions.
Okay, I'm ready.
So your latest project is called Forever.
Yes.
Teri Tobin is what it
Yes.
says.
Yes.
Let me just say, this is a no skip album. Okay. So, oh my goodness. You know how you're like, oh, this song was good. This one was okay. No, all of these are great songs. I've been listening to them and listened to it again in the wee hours of the morning. And it's just beautiful. So I saw that it was released on Valentine's Day. So I know
It
you put your
was.
into it. Okay.
I did.
So you had some features that complimented you well. Tell me what this project means to you. And then also, I love that you have it available on CD and vinyl. So it's streaming.
Yes, ma'am.
Also
Yes.
available on CD and vinyl. So tell me what this latest album means to you.
So I'll try to make it succinct, but there's a lot that has happened, I'll say, over the last 10 years. Aside from the medical things, there were some things that happened in my personal life where my equipment got destroyed, right? And everything that I had been planning for the album at that time is gone. Like, I'll never be able to pull it up again. The hard drive, it's bye-bye. So that coupled with, all the things that were happening medically. And then I was like, you know what? This is going to be it. This is my last project. I'm not doing any more music. Part of it too is because it costs so much money to actually put these things together. And then with streaming, unfortunately, you don't make the money that you should make from streaming services. So then I'm like, okay, how can this be sustainable? Right. And so I had decided that this was going to be it. And so when I put Forever, Teri Tobin, I really thought this was going to be it. But I always joke that I have some close friends that threatened bodily harm and told me that if you ever think that you're going to stop doing music, that's the last thought you're going to have, and all the things. And so I had to rethink things, figure out how I could do this. And it took me, I guess, almost 11 years to finish this project. So again, I always say I pick things that feel good to me. I pick the tracks that feel good to me. But what's also different about this album is, it's not necessarily a concept album where everything has like one running theme, except it's always about love in some form or fashion. And so I don't know that you'll find another R&B record that has a dedication to my great grandmother, like I do, to my granny. So I don't know if you know this, but Nolly, the one that's Nolly, is a dedication to my great grandmother, and you can hear her voice on the album. At the time, I didn't know this is what I'd be using it for, but to me, those types of things, Precious Little One, that was like me writing a love song or writing a letter to myself and to my son. Like, I didn't have a concept, but it ultimately turned into a concept of just the whole person, loving the whole person, loving your community, loving your elders, and then loving. Yes, ma'am. Loving your curves.
Yes.
And the truth is I feel like self-love is equally as important as all the other forms of love. And so it's taken on a different meaning for me now. But Forever is kind of just my love song, to my ode to all things love, right? But one of the other things when I talked about, spreading love one love song at a time, I also want to bring back the art of love songs, because we've been focused on, and again, this is not to take away from anything that's on the radio now, but we have gotten away from honoring each other, celebrating each other. There's a lot of narrative about why men and women don't get along, but let's talk about when you have that person that you love, why not celebrate them? Why not, so anyway, that's the premise behind the album. With regards to having it on vinyl, this is my first time ever having my projects on vinyl. And as I mentioned earlier, the record player was my babysitter. So this is like a full circle moment for me to be able to have my very own project on vinyl, as well as streaming and CDs. And we are in a season where people aren't buying music like they used to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I stress this. I'm also a part of a group called the Independent Artist Group. We have Independent Artist Month is the month of July. And so we use that month to kind of elevate all our fellow independent artists. But the thing that we always stand on is make sure that you find a way to support the artist. Mm-hmm. If you go to their website and they sell their music on a website, buy it directly from them. If they sell vinyl, if they sell CDs, go to their shows, buy their CDs. That's the only way they're really going to make money. Streaming is cool. And the thing is, it's a convenience for the listening audience because you can have it in the palm of your hand, but it makes it difficult for the artist to actually make money. So I wanted to not only honor my childhood by having vinyl, but also it's a means for those that want to have a little bit of nostalgia by having vinyl, but also can support me as the artist.
Yes, well said, well said. And it's nothing like hearing that, needle on the record.
Yes, there's nothing like it.
It gives such a different sound,
Yes.
So like I said, I really love that you released it that way as well. And I wanted to share with you, and you touched on it, and I was like, I have to tell her this because I was, putting your show together. Mm-hmm. And it was in the wee hours of the night when I work best,
Right.
So I'm listening to your music and I'm writing your show, and I'm listening to the music and I'm writing the show. And Nolly played, and tears just streamed. Tears were streaming down my face. Such a beautiful song. I lost my grandmother many years ago, but it brought up so many great memories of her, heartfelt memories.
Yes.
There are things that we learn from our grandmothers, and our grandparents, and things that they put inside of us, little jokes between us, their food that no one else can cook like them.
That's right.
And so when I heard Nolly, grandmama, I had to tell you, thank you for that song.
Thank you for listening. I'm so glad that it resonated. Because as I'm writing it, I'm thinking like, people don't want to hear about me singing about my grandmama, but I think it's a beautiful thing if you're able to apply it to your own life. But also I stand on the need for us to honor our elders more than we do. Mm-hmm. The generation below us, I will say, they weren't encouraged, I don't think, like we were, Right. We grew up having our grandparents there, and in some cases, grandparents are raising teenagers, but because of that, they're missing that honor, that hierarchy that we automatically had, and you knew not to cross that, right? Exactly. And nowadays we just don't have that. And I'm honored. And that's the other thing. I'm honored that I got to know my great grandmother. Most people can't say that they knew their great grandmother. Yes. And I had the opportunity to not only know her, but have our little things that we giggled about, all the things that I still hear her voice. Like I said in the song, I hear her voice saying certain things. And I was just quoting her the other day because, it's just an impact that I think we don't tap into enough. Not only, and again, my great grandmother had like a 6th or 7th grade education, but there was so much richness in what she shared and what love really looks like. It's not about the cars. It's not about the money. It's not about any of that. And anyway, I could go on and on and on, but I appreciate you sharing that because obviously the song means a lot to me. It really does.
Absolutely. And that's why, when God gives us something like that, like you said, who wants to hear this? But
Right.
you never know how something is going to resonate with, the listener. And so it's important when he drops something into our spirit, we may not always understand the effects,
Sure.
because I may have never been able to tell you, hey, that song made me cry. It made me
Yes.
cry,
Yes.
and so I'm glad that you are here tonight so I can tell you that song, it was necessary for the album. And like you said, you feel the love throughout from every angle, from family to self-love to all of those things. Like
Right.
you said in the comments, she said self-love is so necessary, and
Absolutely.
it is definitely necessary. And speaking of that, we have a few minutes left, like a few minutes, and I still have more questions, but I do
Okay.
touch on this. You are an advocate for mental health, and
I
your
am.
music has been said to be a vessel for healing,
Yeah.
empowerment, self-love.
Yeah.
So tell me what led you to being an advocate, and how you've used your music to kind of go hand in hand to help
Right.
the healing process.
So mental health has touched my family in various ways. I am a single parent of a child with special needs. Well, he's an adult now, but I'm his guardian. And I'd already been studying psychology prior to his birth, but it catapulted me into wanting to learn more. And also, society is not going to protect our Black boys like we will. That's just the bottom line. And so I wanted to make sure that I learned everything I could about the resources and all the things. And then ultimately I ended up in the line of work. I worked in behavioral health for about 5 years, and I worked hand in hand with people that had been told that because they had a disability or certain disabilities, that they would not be able to get a job. They would
Mm.
not be able to do anything other than collect a check and not do anything. And so I felt like, again, I was placed there for a reason. I was able to not only be a resource for them, but it also showed me a lot of things and taught me some things with regards to being a mother to someone with special needs. And as far as my music is concerned, because I also struggle with my own mental health challenges on occasion, I utilize my music as my outlet. I use it as my source of strength. My just like there's many songs that I've written that people have stopped me and they say, "Oh man, I use that in my meditation," or whatever the case is. And part of that is I believe that, like you were saying, there are certain things that resonate with people that you don't expect.
Right.
And I believe that, like we were talking about self-love, you can't love anybody else until you love yourself the most. And so I try to lead by example with that. And I also have done public speaking. I also do there's some workshops that we're working on that ties the music in together. I also did a thing called Exhale Queen prior to the pandemic, where I was able to combine my music with, I don't want to call it a therapy session, but essentially it was. We exhaled,
Yeah.
we let go of the thing that was holding us back in that moment. And I wrote a song about it. Want to hear it? Here you go. And like
Here you
that's
go.
that was kind of how I initially started tying it in together. So my intention is to do a lot more of those types of opportunities to not only share the music that I've written that I feel like God gave me. Sometimes I'm holding the pen, but I don't feel like it's actually me writing it, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So I feel like there's other ways that I can also share that with the masses.
Yes, keep up the great work. You are doing some great things, and you are necessary. So I am so glad, that through your healing and through finding the love and discovery of yourself, that you have been able to touch the lives of so many others. And I just want you to do, I think you said Exhale Queen or Queen.
Yes.
I want you to do it again, because I think,
Yes.
that's something that we need, especially in this day and age. Sometimes we feel like with everything that's going on in the world, with everything that's going on in society, like you said, even protecting our Black men and Black women, you know,
Yes.
we need a place to exhale. And so people
Absolutely.
don't even understand what we mean because they're not from, I hate to say our culture, but
Yes.
there are burdens and weights that we as African Americans or Black people carry that
Yes.
no other culture deals with. And that's just the
Absolutely.
truth. I'm being
Absolutely.
honest at this point. There are times
Yes.
that I read stories where my heart just breaks and aches because I know that a person was treated the way that they were treated simply
Yeah.
because of the color of their skin.
Absolutely.
Need to exhale. I'll
Absolutely.
do it again one day, Terry.
Yes, I will. I will. And I'm going to bring it to Vegas. I'm going to bring it, you know, my goal was to do it, you know, pick different cities and bring it around the country. And then of course,
Yes.
COVID happened, but we're going to do some things. But the other thing that I also want to stress is one of the things that I talk about publicly, of course, on stage is my use of therapy to get to this healing place. And I think in our culture, we haven't always talked about it. It's always been a stigma. And I want to encourage people to seek it out. And I think that people say, well, I went to therapy and it didn't work. Well, oftentimes that could also mean you just had the wrong therapist at the time. And I'm going to tell you that I also, and again, this is nothing against anybody else, but I know what works for me. And I was specific with my agency that I needed a therapist of color. I needed someone that understood culturally some of the things that I was going through familially and different things that were going on, where I didn't have to code switch, or I didn't have to try to explain to them what it meant when I said that my aunties would, you know, say the things they would say to me or whatever. And they were joking, but you follow what I'm saying? Like there were things that only we understand. And so I encourage anyone that's watching that if you're considering getting therapy, or maybe you've had therapy before and it didn't work, you know, I didn't like that person or whatever. It's okay to ask for somebody else. It's okay to say, you know what, this person's not a good fit for me. And so that's the other way that I advocate, even when I'm on stage. You know, some people are like, dang, why is she talking about it again? But I firmly believe it. And there's things that happen in my history and my story that, you know, you'll hear it at Excel Queen, and you'll know that I've overcome quite a bit. And it's all because the grace of God and being able to utilize proper therapy and my community, my tribe.
Yes, yes. So good. So good. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. So let me ask you this. You've traveled to various destinations,
Yes.
being able to do what you love. If
Yes.
your passport was a soundtrack, what are 3 songs or artists that would have to be stamped on those pages?
Well, I have to tell you, I had to hold it together while you were talking about D'Angelo, because he is definitely he's actually one of my Mount Rushmore people for my generation.
Yes.
Am I picking a song, you say?
You could pick a sort of song or both.
Okay, so with D'Angelo, I can't pick one. And the next I can't pick one either. So I would say D'Angelo, definitely Donny Hathaway, because that represents the very beginning for me. Man, it's hard. It's hard to just pick. I'm gonna pick 2 because they help. One helped shape me, I think, and the other one, I rediscovered her. And anyway, so one, I would say the Hawkins family. When, you know, back when I was coming up, the Hawkins fam. Oh, but then Daryl Coley. Anyway, I can never just pick one, right? But when I think about like, you know, just life in general and just popping in an album, and I can play it from top to bottom, and I know it verbatim, and it just fills me with something.
Come on.
The Hawkins family. I want to say Love Alive 1, 2, and 3.
Come on.
Daryl Coley live from LA.
Yeah.
And dang, did I say Prince already?
No, you didn't.
Okay, well, Prince has got to be in there. But who I was going to say was Aretha, but I'll be here all day giving you people. I really will, because I just love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. But
Yes.
God rest D'Angelo's soul. That really that messed me up this week because I obviously none of us expected it, but you know, we've been talking about how somebody that you don't know, but they touched you so profoundly, and then their absence. And I had posted, I had posted about him that morning. I had posted about him 4 days ago, not knowing any of the stuff was going on with him. And I posted that morning, literally that morning. It's funny. If you go to my Facebook page and YouTube, IG, you'll see that at the anniversary of his album, I painted a picture of him.
Oh, wow.
I am not a painter. I have some skills, but that one's not one of them. I mean, with some things I can, but when painting his picture, you will not recognize D'Angelo in that picture at all. But I just posted about that, and I was just sharing, you know, how I was thinking about him, blah, blah, blah. And then literally 30 minutes later, I discovered that he was gone. But I want to say, if there's an artist that you love their music, aside from what I was talking about, by supporting them, but also let them know, because there's a lot of artists out here that are hustling and doing this thing, and you literally think nobody's listening. Mm-hmm. And everything I think about when somebody like that passes away, I'm like, I really hope they knew that they were loved. Exactly. Because this industry ain't for the weak, and it ain't for the strong. Right. But I think that if you love somebody, whether that's music or just personally, if you love them, tell them.
Absolutely.
Anything else that I said today?
Okay. You know, I just want to add to that, because you said if you love an artist, you know, to support them, of course, by showing up, by getting their music, by telling them. But I also believe that you can support them by praying for them.
Absolutely.
You know, sometimes we do not cover artists. And like you said, the industry, it is a whole beast, you know. So I feel like it's important. There are times where I might be praying for Kirk Franklin, or I might be for, you know, anyone, whoever God lays on my heart. Sometimes it's NDR. Sometimes, you know, I don't know who it is, but I know that this is my industry that I love. And so we have to cover one another. So now Teri Tobin is added to my prayer list.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. So my goodness, this is it. You know, I wanted to do something fun, but I think this is important as well. I want to know, after the lights dim, the music stops, what message do you hope that people carry with them, that you've given, and that they carry with them for a lifetime?
Again, I have a hard time picking one. I will say that your beauty, dang, I can't even think of the line of my own song. It's from Precious Little One. Basically, the premise is the beauty comes from within. And regardless of what the external world says about you, what makes you beautiful is your insides. And I wrote that, like I said, to myself, but also as a note to my son. And, you know, it's easier said than done, especially for young people. Yeah. But I think that if you have the ability to I just lost what I was about to say. You have the ability to look within, be kind to people, you know, those types of things. Yeah, I think those matter way more than anything else, because Maya Angelou said it best, that they always remember how you made them feel. And I feel like if that's only one message. The other one is from Melanated Magic, where you know, they can't take that from you. You know, you came here with excellence. You came here with greatness, and nobody can take it from you. So
yes. Teri Tobin, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Let everybody know where they can follow you and how to support you.
So on Instagram, you can find me at I am Teri Tobin. That's TeriTobin. Facebook, of course, you can find me there. I've just kind of gotten back into TikTok same thing. It should be at Teri Tobin. If you'd like to buy music directly, semi-directly from me, you can go to teritobin.bandcamp.com. All my projects are there. There's also songs there that didn't make the album, but there were singles that I released or mixtapes that I released. It's only at Bandcamp. Also, if you'd like to purchase vinyl, my debut album, Love Infinity, and Forever is also available there. You can go to elasticstage.com/Teri Tobin. Or if you forget all that and you just put in Elastic Stage, you can type in my name and you'll find it. Those are the main places that you can find my music. But of course, you can always find me on streaming sites. But again, I encourage you to find other means to support. Yes. And I guess that's all.
Wow. Well, thank you. Thank you so much
I'm sorry. Ahead. One more thing.
Yes.
People always ask, how do I know where you're performing? I always recommend that you go to, of course, if you're not following on socials, you'll see it posted there. But say you're not a social media person, you can use Songkick, SONGKICK.com, put in my name, and then put in your zip code. It'll tell you when I'm coming nearby. It'll send you an email and let you know when I'm coming nearby. Another site that's similar to that is Bands in Town. So I always encourage people to get signed up with one of those things. And if it's not just me, it's any of your artists that you want to know, because oftentimes I see it all the time. People will say, oh, when do you come into, for instance, when do you come into Columbus, Ohio? I'm like, oh, I was just there, or, those types of things. So it's best to sign up one of those places so that you can always be in the know when I'm coming nearby.
Good stuff, Teri. Look at her. She's teaching on here tonight, okay? Teaching me things I didn't even know. So I'm going to go sign up, okay? Yes, it's been an honor, privilege to have you here tonight. Again, you are doing great things. We didn't even get to touch on how you're singing for the WNBA and NBA in Phoenix for the Suns and the Mercury, and have traveled again, using your gifts. So for you to take time for Kimberly Eichelle tonight means a lot. Thank you for gracing the platform, and you are welcome back at any time.
Oh, well, thank you. It has been my pleasure. And of course, I will come back at any time. I'll be back for sure.
Thank you so much, Teri.
Thank you.
Absolutely. For those of you who are interested in being a guest on Talented Thursdays, you can email me at talentedtelevision@gmail.com. Again, talentedtelevision@gmail.com to let me know that you're interested, and we'll kind of go from there. Okay. So until next week, you all be blessed. And you know what? Give love. Teri talked about love tonight. Give love.
Yes, ma'am.
Stuff going around. We need to love one another. So with that being said, you all have a fabulous rest of your evening and into the weekend, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
Yes, thank you. Bye.
Thank you for watching. Please support by subscribing to Talented Television on YouTube.